Cast from Sci-Fi's hit show Ghost Hunters have been coming to the paranormal rescue. This time around, they're heading to a Civil War battlefield. Take a look.
Listen. It's just voices. That's not happening.
Gettysburg was the largest battle in the American Civil War. A Union soldier was found dead, clutching this photograph of 3 children.
Because of these children entities.
It would dart around a corner. It would dart past the window.
Whoa! You remember the battle? You remember all the gunfire?
Are you kidding me?
It just appeared there. Oh!
Yikes! Please welcome the Ghost Hunters, Jason Hawes, his daughter Samantha, and Steve Gonsalves. A cool entrance there to kind of stay in pace with your show. So I know you don't like the term ghost hunter.
Yes.
So how would you describe what you do, Jason?
We're paranormal investigators. We go in looking for signs of the paranormal, not always being ghosts or spirits.
And Steve, I know that everyone thinks of Ghostbusters when they hear about your work, and I know that you love the movie. But you hate the impression it's left on so many people. Why is that?
Yeah, my favorite movie, I mean, obviously. But, I mean, when we first started, especially with the show, people thought we were going to come in with proton packs and traps and, you know, suck ghosts out of ceilings and stuff. But we come with these little handheld gadgets, a little less spectacular. But, you know, Ghostbusters actually brought a lot of the terminology into the movie that's still used. Dan Aykroyd being really involved with the paranormal. So it just sort of put a bad taste in people's mouth. We never mentioned the word ectoplasm, you know.
Yeah. You were a plumber, Jason, right? For 16 years. And you still work as a plumber?
Yes. Yeah.
But you did kind of make a slight career transition. So how do you go from plumbing to this line of work?
Well, and before that, I was a master tech. I used to work on the computers in vehicles. So I think plumbing, and it's come in handy, believe me, when you're investigating claims of the paranormal. People believing that their dead Uncle Fred is flushing the toilet at 2 a.m. every night, and you find out it's nothing but a flapper valve. So
they get 2 in 1 with you, right?
Exactly. So, but yeah, I've always investigated the paranormal. Steve and I have been doing it for 20+ years, since Sam was a baby, and it's just always been one of those things that have just really been so interesting because we're looking for the explanation.
And Samantha, I know this is your first year actually, you know, working with your dad, but you've helped him out throughout the years when you were little, right?
Probably 14 years.
And so what was it like growing up and having your dad do this for a living? Was that kind of hard to explain to your friends at school?
You know, it wasn't until we got to high school, maybe, when I started to realize this wasn't something that all families do. They don't all talk about these things on the weekend. They're more, you know, sports, soccer, football, and Dad's looking for haunted locations to go on a Saturday night. So in that sense, it was a little different, but I never received anything negative from it, so it was great.
And are you having fun working together now?
I'm having an awesome time.
But the show has been haunted, I guess, Steve, in a different way, because a lot of people think that it's fake, what you're doing isn't really scientific. How do you respond to that?
I mean, it's something we've dealt with the entire time we've been in the field, and I accept it. I actually encourage it. And, you know, I trust Jason with my life, but even when he comes and says, Steve, I just saw this crazy shadow move in front of me, it's so fantastic to believe that your brain actually says, okay, I need to see that for myself. You know, so I think it's the way to go. I mean, we try to disprove everything before we, you know, think it's something possibly paranormal. So we're skeptics ourselves. I encourage it. I think it's the way to think.
And I think that's a very important thing, is we're not here to argue with the skeptics. We're here trying to help out those who are calling us in. And so if the skeptics want to meet us in the middle and work together to truly figure out what's going on, great. But just to cast stones and say something's fake, that's not helping anybody.
And in fact, you get something like 1,500 emails a day, is that right? Asking you guys to come and investigate, you know, a potential haunting. What are some of the things that people write to you about? I'm so curious.
Well, we get 1,500 emails a day. Last year alone, we received 96 million visitors to our website. So we're giving cases, everything. We do a lot of cases for the U.S. government. Where we're called, we had to get clearance to actually go into some of these locations.
Yeah, I'm gone.
But and we get calls from everybody, stay-at-home moms, you name it. So people.
What do they say? Do they say they hear things, or they have you know, they see an orb or they see a figure, or what do they say?
They say all that. A lot of people claim that they see shadow-type entities, other type entities that emit their own lights, the sound of walking voices, small objects in their home being moved around, and they ask us to come and try to figure out what's going on.
So when you show up, I mean, how often do you actually find ghosts?
Very rarely. About 80% of all claims can be disproved. When we go in, we're trying to look for explanations on why these things are happening. And you got to remember, the paranormal and haunting are two different things. Paranormal, an object moving on its own is paranormal, just meaning above the normal of what we're used to. But now if we see a ghost move that object, now it becomes a haunting.
I'm skeptical but fascinated.
You got to be skeptical.
Well, when we come back, the ghost hunters are going to give us a sneak peek at their new season and some of the tools they use to determine what's going on. That's right after this. With the cast of Sci-Fi's hit series Ghost Hunters, Jason and Samantha Haas and Steve Gonsalves. Sorry, Jason, I know in tomorrow night's show that you guys are on location in Gettysburg.
Yes.
And you capture video of what you think was an actual close encounter with a ghost. What happened?
Two of our investigators, Dave and Britt, were out investigating, and they were looking for different signs when there was something at the end of a path that was stationary. It looked like a pole. And then all of a sudden it turned and walked across the path and disappeared into the woods. We tried to recreate it, but it was totally different when we recreated it.
Well, I would think that if you want to find ghosts, there's no better place to go than a battlefield like Gettysburg, right?
It's 150th anniversary, too, yeah.
Oh.
Well, you got to think of how many people, 51,000 people died in that area. The whole town only had 2,400 people, so you can imagine.
Well, we have a scene from the episode. Let's take a look and then we'll talk about it.
We're looking for claims of soldiers coming out of these tree lines.
I got a hit. Looked like a figure walking kind of near the sign. Take a quick look.
There's a deal right here.
Okay.
Oh my God! What is that?
So we have a still photo of that image.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason, couldn't that have been just somebody walking around the battlefield?
It very possibly could have been. We had the area pretty much secure, but also we tried to recreate it with a thermal imaging camera. And the minute it hit the woods, it vanished. Well, when we recreated it with a person sent down there, you were able to see them as they walk through the woods, because the thermal imaging picks up heat signatures that your body gives off.
And Samantha, what are some of the signs that you could be encountering paranormal activity?
Some of the first things to look for when you think your location's haunted, your house, whatever it is, would be disembodied voices, disembodied footsteps. You know, you're hearing these things, but there's nothing around. You're not seeing anything where they are. The overall feeling of being watched. You know, if you're in a room by yourself, you can sense when somebody else comes in. You sense when that turns into somebody else in the room. But if you're getting that sense and there's nobody in there with you, that's, you know, kind of something that you should be looking for.
Now, you guys have all sorts of fairly sophisticated equipment that you obviously use, and you brought a few of the things with you today. So we're going to just show everybody. So what is this called?
That is called a geophone. This is basically just a compact seismograph. Works the same way. Magnet tuned to magnetic north, and it picks up the variations. Yeah.
Okay, here. So basically, what this does, we thought we'd show everybody, is it picks up vibrations, right? So I'm walking by, and obviously is lit up. But what you watch is if nobody's in the area, if it starts to light up, you think, right?
You just watch for the cadence of a walk, you know, and that helps us figure out a lot of residual type of hauntings and see what we're dealing with in current time.
Especially in locations where people claim to hear footsteps and movement.
Right.
This helps you isolate where the sounds are coming from.
And now, what other pieces of equipment did you guys bring with you?
Here we have an EMF gauge, electromagnetic field, and the theory is that, you know, spirits are made of energy, and when energy moves past energy, it creates a little bit of radiation that's burned into the atmosphere, and that's what this device picks up, is a little bit of that radiation.
Okay, and then finally you have something that's, what is this called? It's called a laser grid.
This is a laser grid.
And to demonstrate this, Matt Cohen, our director, is going to turn the lights down. Okay, is everyone scared? I'm a little scared. and show it, what is that exactly?
Well, laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emissions of radiation. So it actually uses radiation in the atmosphere.
And were you able, Matt, to get a shot of that kind of the... Here, turn the lights down again. I'm sorry, you guys, to do this, but I want everyone at home to see it. So it's just, so what's the point of that grid?
Well, what happens, anything with mass that moves in front of it will brighten those beams. You see that? So even something you can't see, if it has a little bit of mass, which energy can contain mass, you may see it sort of brighten up these beams.
Yeah. Now I imagine all this equipment is pretty pricey. If you're at home and you kind of want to see what's going on, are there things that you can do that aren't so costly?
Absolutely. You can set up a digital recorder at night when the house is at its quietest. You can set up a camcorder with night vision to see what you're able to catch as well.
A compass will work just like an EMF gauge as well. It'll spin when it can't find magnetic north. So you can get a compass to save you some money for EMF.
And when you meet people, Jason, and they say, you guys are out of your minds, you know, this doesn't exist, what do you say to them?
Honestly, I'm not there to argue with them. Like I said, I'm there to help out those who need our help, and we're doing it free of charge. So it makes no sense to sit there and really argue that fact with them. They're going to have their belief systems, and we're going to have ours.
And what is the freakiest thing you've ever seen in your career?
Oh, geez. Well, I got to be honest with you. Sometimes the scariest stuff, it has nothing to do with the paranormal. It's usually the homeowners.
The homeowners.
And it's true. We walked into little old ladies' homes who 20 minutes later forgot they invited us in and come chasing after us with frying pans.
Yeah. We had a lady invite us in with a shotgun at one time.
Yeah, we had to get rushed out. So a lot of times when you're going into these homes, you're dealing with people who do have true problems, but also you're dealing with people who are under-medicated, over-medicated, other issues that can arise.
So you've met all sorts of interesting people.
Yes, we have.
Dead and alive.
Yes. But the dead won't hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, it's the living that will.
We hope not. Anyway, Jason, Samantha, and Steve, thank you so much for coming by. Good luck. You can catch Ghost Hunters Wednesdays on the Sci-Fi Network at 9 p.m. That was fun.
Thank you very
We'll be right back.